My name is Vít Jedlička. I'm the founder of Libberland, and right now we are at our representative office here in Berlin, which is maintained by Rick Falkenberg, who's also with us. And as I said, I'm founder of Liberland, which is the freest and newest country on this planet. Since that time, we've got now more than 500,000 people that registered on our website for citizenship. We've got hundreds of citizens, we've got hundreds of diplomats, we've got a great network of business professionals from different fields. For example, we've got now chambers of commerce globally operating and offices in more than 100 countries. So it is now become a regular nation building initiative in a traditional sense. I'm happy that Croatia still doesn't claim Liberland and that they are technically protecting our territory, especially from Croatia's side. I was happy to visit Liberland on many occasions since. But because of the security measures, we're building everything on water. Right now, a small conference center and hotel is going to be built in a month from now next to Liberland. So everybody can come and visit. We're also building multiple houseboats. Local presence is important for us, but it's more of a symbolic thing. The most important thing is the nation building. The fact that we have hundreds of thousands and millions of people supporting Liberland globally. We had a very nice architectural competition, which was run by Patrick Schumacher, a German, but now a CEO of Zaha Hadid, one of the most famous architectural studios in the world. We had some 80 entries coming and 12 finalists. So we've got different beautiful concepts. If you put into Google Liberland architectural competition, you can see them easily. So those are the plans for development. Right now, we again are doing it through houseboats. We've got very nice, completely self-sustainable houseboats and one bigger boat for events. But I think it's going to be much bigger next year. So come and see. The most important part about Liberland are two things. First one is that we want to invoke the spirit of American Revolution, the fact that there should be maximum personal and economic freedom. And the second one is that we are utilizing the latest blockchain technologies to do it. So I was here in Berlin 3 days ago. We made a partnership with DAO Stack. We've been talking about it for a longer time. And Liberland will be a first decentralized autonomous government. But we will also be one of the first functional DAOs in a traditional sense. And not only that, not just Liberland will be a DAO, but also all entities incorporated in Liberland will have an option to be incorporated as a DAO. And I think that's the future of governance, and that's where we want to experiment and find the best solution. We are building a decentralized system for budget governance, for political governance. We're also building the centralized system for resolution of justice, so the disputes within Liberland jurisdiction, and we're also working on building the right economic model around our token. So I'm kind of happy that we are very much on the same page, and that DAO Stack has the technology, we've got the ideas. We also have a lot of people that are experts in blockchain technologies. We managed to keep with us, I would say, leaders of the blockchain community. And it's funny how many of these blockchain startups are actually also Liberlanders here in Berlin. So it is a very exciting venture. We're trying to combine the best out of old and new world. So the old world, we could see that the Republic was a great concept that was put together in a reasonable way by the founding fathers of the United States. That's why we actually started Liberland on 13th of April 2015, which was birthday of Thomas Jefferson. We wanted to invoke the spirit of American Revolution. But the other part is, of course, the transparency and the fact that the systems will be working no matter what happens with the territory of Liberland, for example. And that's something I think very important. But also the fact that the justice system will be run on a blockchain as a kind of revolutionary thing. So anybody that is in Liberland for any kind of contribution collects merits. And these merits, they can be either tradable or they can be staked in Liberland, and then that way they can be used for voting. But not only that, they also work as a collateral in the justice system that we are building. So whenever you deal with some Liberlander, you know how much merits he's got at stake in the society that he's living in. And those merits basically become kind of a capital that you've got staked. And that also becomes your reputation. It is similar to ownership of stakes. And I think that's fundamental difference between Liberland and traditional society. Whenever you pay taxes, you get bigger stake in the society that you're living in. And I think, again, that's the best way how to put incentives into alignment. Not person one vote, as normal societies have it, but really you can hire your stake in the society and become a bigger shareholder. But we've got also an element of direct democracy. So whatever people with merits develop and build, the people with the veto power, meaning one citizen, one vote, can put down. And I think that's also very important. Something that we have learned from Switzerland, that is it's a concept that works very well there, that the majority of society can in public veto turn down the decisions of the government. So we are kind of meritocracy, we are republic, and we have got some elements of democracy. The idea with Liberland is that it will be a republic, and it will be a republic from the traditional American point of view, that the government should only take care of justice, security, and diplomacy, nothing apart of that. And those are the three important elements which I believe should not take more than 2 or 3% of GDP. And I really believe we can actually get all this money on a voluntary base, and we could even get them without this staking mechanism, that our citizens would just put together enough money to take care of these three elements. So, the other services like education, like, for example, healthcare system, we really believe that the private sector can do much better, especially if those sectors are not overregulated like we see in other societies. The United States is a great example of completely overregulated medical system. That's a very good explanation why it's so expensive. And we also believe that there are now so many different options how people can educate themselves that really state shouldn't interfere. We do have multiple ICOs that registered in Liberland. We do have now multiple exchanges moving into Liberland, especially the ones that are crypto to crypto exchanges. I think Liberland is becoming more and more popular jurisdiction for these type of exchanges. And amazingly enough, I was here in Berlin in Masternode, and they told me that I'm just 3 weeks ahead of the Prime Minister of Malta. So yes, I would say we are a little bit ahead in terms of attracting all these different blockchain startups and blockchain businesses. And I think it's very hard to compete in Liberland in terms of regulation because we are really non-binded by the existing international legal framework, which gives us a little bit of advantage. We're working now, and I told you we've got more than 100 representative offices across the globe, and all of these representative offices are in different stages for pushing for recognition of Liberland. And 2 weeks ago, we had a huge diplomatic event in London. We actually invited all African embassies. We actually had dozens of them coming and taking active part in that presentation. And I'm happy that the message of Liberland vibrates so well with the African nations. So that's why we have a little bit more focus there. But a part of that, we do have a very good relation in Central America, in some of the countries in Balkans. And of course, we've got also lots of support in European Parliament or in American Congress and Senate. So it is a process which takes a long time, and we have to deserve it. I'm not a big fan of some fast recognition through other, let's say, backdoors. I think Liberland really needs to deserve the recognition by the international community for the benefit that it has brought to it. Many countries, let me give you an example of Israel. From the original idea until the establishment of the state, it took exactly 50 years. And I think we can do much better, we can do much faster. I think we will see some big diplomatic breakthrough by the end of the year. I'm actually invited for official state visits to a couple of countries this year. So I hope that it will bring more recognition. Meanwhile, I can tell you that we were already recognized by Somaliland, which is a nice country in Africa with 5 million people living there, and the territory larger than of the UK. And it was an exciting journey. That's now first our official embassy that we are going to open in 2 weeks from now. So we are taking the active steps to become recognized country by the international community. So we're happy that so many security agencies follow us closely. That's good. And there was already a report by CIA about Liberland. So we're kind of excited about that. I didn't have any problems with that, with the security or threats, until I actually said during the finals now in soccer that I support Croatia, and somehow it really angered a number of Serbians. But a part of that, I'm kind of happy that we are very welcome, I would say, in the region, and we don't have any big enemies. And I think we are also doing kind of great in Croatia itself now. The founder of Živi Zid party, which is skyrocketing in popularity in Croatia, Ivan Pernar, has been a great supporter of ours for a number of years. And I think that's kind of great to have a strong ally also directly in Croatian politics, which is so important for us. It is already success. Right now we are larger than Iceland or Malta in terms of diaspora. We've got, even in places like Germany, we've got 5,000 people that applied for citizenship, despite Germany being a very conservative country in terms of nationhood. I think we are doing a very good job in putting a stable and institutions that can last for centuries, actually, if we do it right. Just combining, again, the best of what the technology brings, which I think we are just seeing a big switch to a next generation of governance with really well-proven concepts like republic, like direct democracy. I think that's the best way how to bring more freedom to the world, is to introduce more competition to the existing systems. And I was working for a couple of years in Czech politics. I wasn't really a politician, a typical one. I was more in the educational side of politics. And I understood that the real change cannot be done from within the system. It's like to try to change the communism from within. You're trying to change the democracy, which always leads to more socialism from within. You really have to build a new model that will make the existing model old. And this is something what we are now working on. We are trying to come up with a really good model that will simply attract the rest of the world into it. I think the most important thing is that we prove the concept of running a voluntary tax system. And that's something which many people cannot wrap their head around, that the relation between state and its citizen can be based on voluntarism. That's why when people ask me, who are you? Are you libertarian? Are you right-wing, left-wing? I say, no, I don't like any of these terms. I'm voluntarist. I believe there should be voluntary relation in the society, but especially between the state and its citizen. Right now we go to Apatin, where our boats are parked in Serbia, and you take a boat ride. It's easy, 30 to 50-minute boat ride, so you can get to see Liberland. And we've got a nice event on 24th of August. We've got a Czech business club coming to see Liberland, and we will also launch the Chamber of Commerce, Liberland Czech Chamber of Commerce. So I hope that will be a good opportunity for many people to come. They could also see Apatin Free Trade Zone, which is right opposite to Liberland, with zero VAT and zero import-export tax, which might become a Liberland industrial zone in the next year or so. So it is one of the great opportunities at the end of summer to visit Liberland and socialize with Liberlanders.